And we're live.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, I got to switch cameras around. Ah,
What? Oh, I'm Barnaby. I'm the guest today. No, hello, everybody. This is a special episode of Morning Ritual because I'm awake. I've been up, I've been up all day. No,
It's the
no,
little
but
things.
seriously, I know, right? I didn't even need coffee. Um, but welcome to Morning Ritual. Thank you, as always, for joining us. I am one of your hosts, Noir. I go by He Day. Our other host.
that's me. Hi, I'm Anita. My pronouns are she, they. Um, and we've got a very incredible, amazing guest for you today. Oh, Barnaby, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Barnaby. I think most people know me from TikTok as that's underscore Barnaby. I make art on the internet, mostly around TTRPG stuff. I also have been on a couple things that some people may have seen, and thought that was pretty okay. And I do a lot of DEI work and behind the scenes organizing within our TTRPG space. So that's what I do on the internet.
I do have to say your art is so fucking adorable. Like every time it pops up, I'm like, ah! So
Thank you.
I have to ask you, like, how did you get started on your in your TikTok journey? Like, I'm always curious about what inspires somebody to download the app and then let alone make content on there.
God, so I got laid off from my job right around the beginning of the pandemic, like most people did, and I all of a sudden
Yeah.
found myself with a lot of free time because TikTok to me was like, this is not for me. I am an older millennial. I I was like, I have no business being on this app, but then I can't remember what got me into TikTok. It was the Not a Vibe guy. I don't know if anyone remembers the Not a
Yes,
Vibe
I
guy.
with all the silly
Gosh.
glasses. Not a vibe.
He got me into it, and then I started making content because of Whipjack. I don't know if people know
Oh,
Whipjack. Yeah. Whipjack was my first introduction to D&D and to the space. And started making content and have just been around. I'm an extrovert in a very introverted community. And have just made my way to like making lots of friends and connecting with lots of people and you know, just being a swell person with a smart mouth.
I do have to tell you that as an elder millennial myself, you were part of my TikTok pipeline of people that got me into it. Um, I just there, you were my breath of fresh air on TikTok because there were so many just bad takes in the TTRPG space, and I'm like, please, somebody have a reasonable response. You are always there. And I just want to let you know how much I appreciated that.
Oh, thank you. My most of my content. Like I originally went to TikTok with like the intention of like, oh, make art on Instagram. This is another platform to show off my art. I was doing like speed draws, and then got into TTRPGs, and then of course got into bad take TTRPG TikTok.
Oh,
And boy, oh
God.
boy, there's so many that have
So
no
many.
nuance. I mean, you know, you back then we didn't have the 10-minute videos. We only had like you had the 60 seconds. And I was like, it's hard to have nuance with 60 seconds, but come on, guys, can we act like we're try to talk to one another or like have some form of basic intelligence whenever we share our opinions? Because some of these are really bad. And they
I
just
mean,
make a
it's the
cycle, like it's
same
the same
four
9 things.
discussions. Oh yeah.
It's the same 9 things. I don't make content anymore because like I don't know how many times I can talk about these things.
I will never forgive TikTok for introducing the on this day feature because it just has this tendency to drag up like those freaking no terrible nuanced conversations from way back in the day, like a zombie rising from the grave. We forgot this back in 2021.
So, how did you get started in art? Like, is this something that you were formally trained in, or is this something that you just kind of picked up?
Again, the I want to say the pandemic contributed to it. I had just started playing D&D and TTRPGs in 2019. So just before the pandemic, and I had made my first character. And I was like, I want to commission a piece. and I seen how expensive it was. And so I decided I was going to take it upon myself to learn how to draw my TTRPG, my first TTRPG character, and decided that if I was able to do Inktober in 2019, if I did all 30 days and didn't miss, I would treat myself to an iPad. And use my credit card for the first time. So I had used it, and I've been drawing art. I think from 2019 all the way to 2020, I had drew a piece every day, without missing a beat.
Wow.
It's part of like my Twitter existence is my daily doodles, where every morning I get up and I draw a piece, post it to the internet, and then move on with the rest of my day. So I've only been drawing for like 4 years.
That's wild to me because it's so good.
Thank you. I get a lot of compliments on it. I appreciate people like, oh, you must have like gone to school or done something. I'm like, no, I just have autism. I just have autism. I am so sorry. I've only been drawing for 4 years.
So can I ask you, because I feel like you kind of expanded from TikTok to like now you have a presence on Twitter. I will never call it X. I have to ask, never, just never. You'll never get that from me. I do have to ask. Do you notice any differences on platforms in terms of community? Are some people nicer on one spot than others, or what's your preference?
So I think I most of the community I have are the people I made friends with on TikTok. Even though TikTok, almost out of spite, I think, like this particularly the TTRPG community made community on TikTok. And so most of my community comes in there, but boy do I love Twitter. Twitter's like sitting in the parking lot of a Walmart with your friends after after a football game. It's what it feels like. It's like, is someone going to fight? Absolutely. Will I be watching? Yes, I will. I'm not there to make new friends. I'm just there to hang out with the same motherfuckers I've been hanging out with the last 3 years.
Twitter is the Waffle House of social medias.
I was just about to say Denny's myself. Oh, okay. So, I mean, I've got a couple of standard questions that I kind of want to jump into as well here.
Yeah.
I'm debating whether I want to jump into the question early, just because, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep myself to asking the question early. So, speaking of Walmart parking lots, there's a secret war going on in the TTRPG space, where some of us see these as just storytelling devices. That dismissive and others of us see these as a treat to crunch on to, even though it's a choking hazard, it's a dental hazard, and all that. Barnaby, I have to know, do you crunch your die, or are you a non-cruncher, a dice defender, as it were? Or the cowardly third thing?
Oh, the cowardly third thing, a secret third thing.
The secret third thing is that there are the crotch responsibly people. They're too afraid to make a choice. They're cowards.
I'm just not going to infringe on people's right to crotch.
Oh, there you go.
Good Lord. I definitively am not I'm not part of Team Crunch. I support your right to do your crunch, but I don't. I'm hot take. I use mostly digital dice.
You know what? I respect it.
I have too many motherfuckers in my TTRPG groups who can't do basic math. Who can't do basic math, that for the sake of my own sanity, I just have like a plethora of apps open for doing the math so that I can very quickly get the things that I need to get. I do have a large collection, most of these being from Golden Gorgon on TikTok. We have been doing art trades for like 3 years, and so majority of my dice collection is art trades from dice makers. Shout out to them, and also Hot Glue Gun, who's
Smoking
also
Glue Guns?
Yeah, Smoking Glue Guns, who's also been really great with like the art trades. But I have dice. I have a couple that are very near and dear to my heart, but for the most part, I just use digital
Can you
dice.
can you elaborate on what are art? I know it's like probably the trading of art, but like like how does
So
listen? I never said I was smart. What goes on with these art trades?
So usually what happens is somebody out there has a skill that the other person doesn't. So one of my skills is I'm very good at drawing people's characters. And so occasionally I'll see somebody make something or somebody will be like, oh, I want to do an art trade. And then I just reach out in their Twitter DMs or their TikTok DMs because I'm mutuals with everybody. I know everybody in the fucking space. Sometimes it gets my own will. And we'll just ask like, hey, hey, you know, like it's a drug deal. Hey, what are you doing? I seen that you was you make dice or you make you know, blah blah blah. Wouldn't it be great if you could have your character drawn out in a 3/4 portrait? I could do that for you. You know, you send something to me, I send something to you, we wash each other's hands, you know, we can get in the pit and wiggle about our OCs kissing, you know, whatever you want.
I'll put that on a shirt. Get in the pit and wiggle about our characters' kids. Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense. It makes me wish I had some kind of crafting talent. Oh,
I mean,
but
you
okay.
could offer music commissions, a theme song for people's characters.
Yeah, I've had those too. I've had somebody make music for a campaign of mine that I was running. It's like, hey, I'll draw your character doing this thing that you've asked me, but I want a whole song for this. What you've given me is weird. I need a whole song for this. 3 minutes.
I just want to be involved because of how shady you make this sound. I know it's like a sweet communal thing, but this sounds so underground shady. That's a nice talent you
It's
got
only
there.
underground once you've done it a couple times. That first time we're all cordial. Nobody knows anybody's kinks yet. You know, it's real cottage core the first time around. But the third or fourth time around, it's like, hey, I had a dream about my OC doing X to X. Wow, that's crazy. What are you gonna give me? It's like a black market flea market, a black flea market. It's just the wildest shit you can think of, and then it just, you know, you try to one up each other as the art trades go on. So,
you know, this is adding context to we had Angie here, and like we have a segment called Tabletop Confessions, and the penance was not drawing. I
was eating so well because we're in my TTRPG group and we're friends, and we're just like, wow, it'd be great if, you know, you could draw your character. What's that? You can't draw eating so well. Eating so well.
That's another thing that I wanted to talk to you about. So, like, in the werewolf mythology, there are some werewolf mythologies where it's just like, in order to not be a werewolf, you have to find the original werewolf and get rid of them. I feel like you are the original werewolf of the One Piece fandom.
Yes, I am single-handedly responsible for converting most of the motherfuckers in TTRPG, TikTok, and Twitter to fucking One Piece. I got a group right now that has Amelia Som, Abs Kelly. There's a couple other TikTokers. I'm like doing a like almost like pop-up video version of the live action One Piece right now to walk them through it about how good it is. And we're at the last episode. We're watching right after this, and they're already like, "Yeah, I'm gonna start watching the anime." I'm like, "We got another one, boys. We got another one."
I swear to, because every time I ask around, because people will be like, I made the mistake of watching one episode and TikToking about it, and so people will still send me messages like, when are you gonna do episode 2? Like, when are you gonna watch episode 2? And those people that are asking me, I'm just like, how did you get into it? And inevitably, it always comes back to you.
It's always me, baby.
It all comes back to Barnaby.
They need to put you on the payroll.
Because I eat so well. I love watching people go on their journey. It reminds me of like I'm from the natural hair community. It reminds me when someone does the big chop and then they start going through the shit with their hair. So watching somebody watch Fishman Island for the first time feels like a Saboti. I eat it up. I love it. Because it's like this is what will radicalize most of this community is watching a bunch of gay people with autism travel across the world. It's so good, so great.
Pirates have had a major resurgence these last few years between Black Flag, the Assassin's Creed game, One Piece, and Our Flag Means Death. It's just all pirates.
We're pirates all the way down.
It's their turn. We're leaving our Marvel era and we're heading out into the ocean. Like bring back the pirate movies. We go through like movies, right? Like in the 60s or 70s, right? There's like a bunch of cowboy movies, and we watch those for like 10, 20 years, and then something new come up, and then we did the Marvel era. Now we are in our pirate era. Yo ho ho ho.
Listen, we had the Harder They Fall, Black Cowboys. We need a Black Pirate movie. We need a Black Pirate movie so bad.
I want that for all of us. Yes.
We need every time there's a movie where it's just like Black folks doing things, you get a killer soundtrack out of it. So like, give us pirates.
Is it a miss? I mean, you'll look at the soundtrack. Can you imagine
the shanties though?
The only Black person I've ever seen do shanties is Mace Windu on
I love
TikTok.
Mace Windu on TikTok.
That man makes me swoon. Whatever he's singing, it don't even matter. I'm just like, get you a chubby man who can sing, ladies and gentlemen, them and theys. Please get you someone who can sing you a sea shanty. I want to longingly look out to the sea and wonder, has the ocean claimed my husband? While singing longingly into the dark of a lighthouse.
I want to be a pirate, all except for the fact that I can't swim.
That's a problem. You know what? That doesn't stop Luffy. Luffy can't swim. And Luffy's going to be king of the pirates.
Wait, what?
If you are a devil fruit user, you lose the ability to swim. You can never swim again.
What?
That's the lore.
That's kind of badass, and it's making me want to watch One Piece. Goddamn.
Listen.
Got another one.
Any man who will take on the government in flip-flops is a man to be feared. All 10 toes out and said, fuck the government. How can you not? Listen. Can I say the N-word on here? I'll say it anyway.
You can say whatever you want.
Luffy's a nigga. No one can tell me anything else. Luffy is a black man doing the work. He got him and all his other little friends, all his little hood rat friends up in that boat doing the Lord's work.
Okay, well, you know what? Yeah, you're about to get some One Piece questions because
go ahead.
There is something that I heard that I'm not sure if it's real or if it's just a joke between the community, but apparently one of the characters gets stronger every time they fight a black person.
Listen, as a Zoro fan, let me fight the allegations. Let me fight the allegations. Let me defend my husband. Let me defend my man. Zoro. It just so happens to be on every pirate crew that the hardest hitting motherfucker who's not the captain is a person of color. And he don't come asking for the smoke. They come to him. He's like, nah, don't ask for the smoke unless you want it. And then they come and then they get cooked. Who's to blame there? It's not a hate crime if they come looking for you.
I saw a TikTok where apparently this guy was fighting somebody. They're like, he needs to be like, somebody needs to cheer him up. Somebody needs to help him fight. And they just go, hey, I heard he's a quarter black.
That is the joke in the community that Zoro is the minority killer. Because every time he has a big fight, it is always against a person of color. Every fucking time, it is always against the person of color. Somebody would there's a splash of melanin, just a drop of chocolate in there. Is getting the hands. They're getting all 3 swords.
I can't believe I'm gonna leave this interview and just immediately put on One Piece because I need to see. Listen, how bad is this? Like,
it's not bad at all. Listen, the haters are gonna hate. One Piece, greatest. I'm gonna say this my whole chest. Greatest piece of fiction in our lifetime. 20 years of quality content by one very tired Japanese man who is single-handedly. They have the straw hat flag in Palestine. When you see those pictures of motherfuckers out there doing the work, they got that flag. It's just a great piece of media. I think it's sold more like printed copies now than Superman or Batman, and it's been out for less time. Like it's just good media. It's just good stuff.
Yeah, speaking of Palestine and One Piece, I know that's a weird segue. I saw another TikTok that said, here's why you need to get involved in what's going on. And they broke down the geopolitical breakdown of like how this could lead into a bigger war. And then the ending was, and if that happens, Japan will get involved in the war and we'll have to wait longer for One Piece.
I've seen that TikTok.
And I'm like, how are y'all this devoted? Somebody did the math on geopolitics and brought it back to One Piece. Sorry, I should
listen. The One Piece fandom is both the sweetest and most unhinged community to be a part of. This is why I tell every motherfucker that's in TTRPGs, listen, if you can watch Critical Role, you can watch. One Piece is shorter than Critical Role Campaign 1 in terms of hours. So shorter, yeah, you can watch all of One Piece. And like 1,000 episodes sounds like a lot, right? But if you don't include the intro and the outro, they're 15 minutes. And you can put it on the background, and you have like 3, 4, 5, 6 months worth of content to just enjoy in the background and to learn a little bit. It's everything that you love about like TTRPGs: found family, overthrowing the government, being gay, leading gay revolutions, fighting slavery, motherfuckers with 3 swords, men questioning their sexuality.
Make sense to me. How is this man fighting with 3 swords? It doesn't make sense.
Because he built different, Noir. Because he built different. That's how.
Okay. There's one TikTok One Piece meme that I'm too scared to try on you. Actually, I will say what it is without actually doing it, which is you can't piss One Piece fans off by saying like it's too long, the art style is crappy, like all this kind of stuff. But if you do want to upset a One Piece fan, say something. I don't even know what this means, but it's they said say "we are" is trash.
First of all, how fucking dare you? How fucking dare you? We are is a bop, a certified bop. Anybody who has anything to say about We Are, listen, I live in Olympia, Washington. You can come find me. You tell me where you want to meet so we can fight, because We Are is an absolute fucking bop. It is grade A, one of the greatest anime openings of our lifetime. Luffy hit a motherfucker so hard that the theme song started playing, and it is a very good OP. It's the original OP for One Piece when it first started out, and it was like I think for the first like 50, 60 episodes, and just has a really tender place in the community's heart of just being like the song. It just being like the song, you know. There's plenty of anime openings that like have like a tender spot in people's hearts.
Okay, all right. So scooting on back to TTRPG.
Yeah. Let's go back over there.
I have to ask, what do you prefer, being a GM or being a player?
I've been a GM for most of my like TTRPG career, but I this year has been my first year like being more a player than a GM. And I gotta say, I prefer, for the sake of my ADHD, I prefer being a GM. Being one
Really?
motherfucker is not. I'm not built to be one motherfucker. It's I don't have it in me. I need to constantly be doing something. I'm just not built to be. I also I'm so bad about participating in angst. It's not for me. It's not for me. I'm like, I just want, I'm like every other like autistic person with like, I was like, we have a task. We need to be doing that task. We don't have time to be gay in the middle of this burning building. Can we save that for when we get back to camp? That's what the long rest is for. Why are we stopping to do this right now? Because in my head, I'm just playing out like we're actually doing those things. But then when I'm playing with people, they'll be like, I need to do a sidebar with somebody for 30 minutes. And I'm like, we are in the middle of a war. Can you fucking not? Can this wait? But I enjoy GMing. Also because like, I mean, you black, I'm black. It's really hard to find a GM that you feel safe with.
Yeah.
Because everybody in this community is trying, and some, bless their heart, aren't trying hard enough. Um, and for me, it's just like there's a lot of themes or things that people will play with that I don't think they're qualified to play with. And so it leads to unsafe situations, it leads to gaslighting, it leads to all these other things. And so for me, especially because like I've curated, since being in the space, such a wonderful like BIPOC space,
Yeah.
to like play out like what does it mean to play in a world where there is no racism, right? Like let's do that thought experiment through like collective storytelling of what a world looks like if we negate that, and telling different types of stories. I was on a podcast with Dr. C, Nerdy Rocks, and JJ, my arch enemy, over on over on TikTok, and we were talking about this. The podcast isn't out yet, so a little sneak peek. But we were talking about like what does it mean to like tell stories, the removed from white supremacy, removed from colonization. Like a lot of times when we tell stories as TTRPG creators, particularly as DMs, right, they're framed around a war. They're framed around a bunch of goofy motherfuckers going around killing rats, trying to earn money to do X, Y, and Z, right? But like, what does the world look like without capitalism? What if we tell stories that aren't explicitly built on that in order to be successful, we have to do explicit violence to one another? And it challenges you to like tell really good and significant stories. And so for me, GMing, there's something just so horrifying because like for me, the characters we're playing are real, right? I treat them like real human beings. And some of the things people do in games are just absolutely horrifying. That like when given infinite power, when given the ability to create life or destroy life in your palm of your hands, that the thing you decide to do is to creatively murder and torture somebody is upsetting and is not something I vibe with. I want to play in. So most of the time I play as a GM. The process of me being a player is really long and is almost a moment of trust, for me to be like, I trust you enough to like to let me put a world in there
Right.
where I feel safe enough to explore themes and ideas and be a silly goofy little guy.
And you touched on the being black experience in this TCRPG space, and it really got me thinking about a TikTok Lexi posted recently, where it's just you go to YouTube and it's just like tips from the greatest GMs, and they always mention Brennan, Matt, and I don't know, some other white guy, and it's just like there's a lot of talk in this space about being diverse and being open and all that kind of stuff, but the actions of the space itself tend to veer towards the other way. One of those three conversations that are one of those like four topics that keep popping up in TikTok, being like, can we play black characters or can we play POCs? And and all these games that just have all white cast and all that kind of stuff, and it's just I me personally, I've decided to kind of take a step back from the TTRPG space because my cup, it did runneth over. But I kind of want to know, like, how do you tank that? Like, how do you just you know this is a space and a hobby that we love, but there are so many, I kind of want to say, passive aggressive actions that the space tends to take against POCs. How do you recoup from that?
I there's a couple things. One, I always remember this as a hobby. I'm here for free by choice. I always have the ability, because this is not my job. I know a lot of people want this to be their job. I never want this to be my job, because this is something I enjoy. Not everything that you enjoy and love needs to be commodified and or turned into something that adds to financial gain, right? And I'm not shitting anybody that does it, right? Capitalism's a bitch. It makes us all do things, and a lot of us have to do those things to survive. I have the privilege of not having to do that. And so one of the things that allows me to be able to tank all of that is one that I always have the ability to walk away. Nobody can threaten me with blacklisting me for stuff or taking anything away from me, because I bankroll all of my stuff. I bankroll half of BIPOC TTRPG spaces things. I make a healthy amount of money teaching white people how to not be racist, and I invest that money back into my community. So that being the big one, and then I do a lot of DEI work in the space and a lot of community building. I think that's so important, not only in the TTRPG space, but just as we move into this world where community exists almost exclusively online for a lot of us, right?
And just for clarification, can I ask a DEI meaning?
Diversity, equity, inclusion is what that stands for. So that's racial. That's when you have to take a diversity thing at your job, or things like that, or teaches workplaces or whatever place you kind of exist in, and how to be more equitable. Not trying to achieve equality, but achieve equity. Equality being more everybody has the same thing. Equity being we accommodate people to be able to see on the same level, to have that same level of privilege, that being the difference. And so a lot of what I do is try to teach how to do equity, and also how to do continuous learning. Because racism, white supremacy is a long time system, that you will constantly battle with, because it changes its form. And so a lot of things that we teach is not necessarily how to stop being racist, but how to combat that with everyday tools to continue your learning and continue, dealing with that. And then the other thing is, do you know who Miss Major Griffin Gracie is?
I don't.
So she is one of the last surviving Black trans women from Stonewall. She was also in Attica. She is a Black trans activist who does a lot of work, particularly with incarcerated trans women, when they get out, and all the violence that kind of happens inherently with trans women when it comes to prison. A lot of them get put in the SHU, which is they get put in isolation for months on end, and by definition of the UN, anything longer than 14 days is considered torture. Anyway, she is an amazing resource and one of our last great scholars for Black queer liberation.
Yeah, Miss Major Griffin Gracie, and I'm extra ashamed that I didn't know, because she is from the South Side of Chicago. Represent.
Shout out to her. I had the pleasure of meeting her. I had the pleasure of meeting her in Portland a couple years ago. Oh, it's been longer. It's been 7-8 years ago. And I do a lot of in-person advocacy work, and that work burns you out. Because there's always something awful happening. There's always somebody who needs help. There's all these things that you want to try to do. And I asked her, you've been doing this for 67, you've been doing this for a long fucking time. She's like, fuck you. And I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, how have you done that work for so long? And she told me, and this has always stuck with me, and I think about this all the time, anytime I'm engaging in heavier topics or trying to do community work, is that the work will always be there. what that means is that when we do work, that we always all put the expectation on ourselves that like it is our job and our job alone to fix the problems. Right. And it's a product of like white supremacy and American culture, like individualism. It is the individual that will, bring about change. And that one, it is okay to rest, right? Because there are tons of other people doing the work. I do not have it in my head that all the DEI work or all the racial justice stuff or all the community building is solely my responsibility. That, like I said earlier, I'm here by choice. I'm here because of X, Y, and Z thing, and then I can put it down and pick it back up. Like that's the thing, people think that the moment they put it down that they can never pick it back up again. Baby, you can do that. You can 100% put it down, walk away for 3 months, and come back and do whatever it is that you were doing. And that makes the work sustainable. Rest is revolution. Rest is rebellion. Not to say that you should be resting all the time. You should still be active. Looking, oh, I know where we at, and I know because probably some white people are gonna watch this and think that I'm co-signing. I'm like not doing anything and prioritizing rest. No, you should be engaged in work. But if you are tired, if you have been doing the work, you deserve rest. You deserve to take a moment to breathe. I know right now we're in like the Palestine-Israel stuff, right? And all that's really heavy because we've been asked explicitly by the Palestinian people not to look away. And right, you should be engaging, you should be watching, but you can take a minute, you can stop and you can breathe and allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to process, and then get right back in it, right? Because there's so much wonderful work being done right now, not only by like communities here, but communities around the world and trying to like, tackle a long-standing problem.
I actually want to ask you a question in regards to those lines, especially with the idea of putting, it being okay to put down the word. I know that in the beginning of the Israel-Palestine just horribleness, there are notable TikTokers that were saying, this is all very horrible. I'm gonna take the weekend to, prioritize myself. And there's a bit of backlash to that. And I was just wondering, can I get your insight on, on how you approach people saying things to that nature? Like, this is too much. I'm gonna take the weekend to myself and then come back. I'm probably not explaining it well, but just any thoughts that you might have.
Yeah, I'll try my best here. I know for me, I professionally get paid to do advocacy work.
Right.
I am always in it. That is inescapable. And for me, in order to maintain sanity, I have to like explicitly box off and put things in different places. I think it always is going to depend on your situation, your level of privilege. There is no roundabout answer to say like, here's what you should be doing, right? Because we're all different individuals with different levels of privilege and different levels of access and power and all these other things. But I guess I don't want to answer this.
And of course, you don't have to answer. I don't.
No.
It's spot or anything.
No. It's a good question, but I want to make sure that like I'm thoughtful in my response. You should be engaged. I think because the ask is so small, right? There's all these people who are trying to do all these extra things, right? That aren't, because we know until like a ceasefire happens, all these resources that people have collected, all these things, other things that people are trying to do, they can't happen. And people are always like, what do I do? What do I do? Somebody tell me what to do, right? Because everyone's like, I don't know what the right answer is. And the people of Palestine have told us what they want us explicitly as American citizens to do. I've seen a TikTok a while ago talking about that when they make those videos, they're doing it in English. English is not their primary language. So when they are making those statements and they're doing those things, they're doing it because they're talking explicitly to us. And so they're telling us what it is they want us to do. And they want us to be writing letters to our collective representatives, call, fax, email, handwritten, Morse code, whatever you need to do to continue to put that pressure and to build, and to share their messages and uplift those things. That's the work that's being asked us to do. If you can't do that, I worry about like what are you going to have the capacity to do when it comes time to do bigger and better work, because we all can do this, right? Us particularly as Americans are all uniquely capable of being able to share share and being asked to like bear witness to like see, and this conflict's been going on a long time, right? Like 75 years or something like that. Every day I'm learning more and more and more about this thing, and I'm like, I don't understand how it's
how it's been going on so long, like
and how we haven't done anything. And it's somebody in your chat said it, like there's a difference between rest and avoidance, and that's really good. You should take time to rest, but rest should not be an excuse, I think, is like the big piece. You should, the moment you're done resting, be back in there doing the bare minimum, at the least. Like liberation requires all of us to get there, not some of us, but it requires everybody to participate. And so if you can't do that, I think you need to sit and have a real honest conversation with yourself. And like we all will have it, right? We all are guilty. I have struggled for a long time with like addiction, particularly around like cigarettes and alcohol. And I know that built into that for me was like struggling with like addiction. And content warning for the chat if anyone has that, good talk about that for a little bit. It is so easy when you have addiction or like there's like a fear that you can make excuses for yourself, right? And like those excuses continue to pile on one another. You're like, well, I can't, one more cigarette. I just a social drinker. Like, you'll build on all these things to excuse something that you inherently know is bad, something that is inherently wrong. And that's built into like social justice work. When the most learning and growth you'll do as a person is in discomfort. If you're uncomfortable with something, asking why does that make me uncomfortable, and having an honest conversation with yourself, not with everybody else, because I think also we're in this space now where everybody feels that for their advocacy work or anything that they have, that all that has to be performed, that you have to make a TikTok, you have to make an Instagram post, you have to make a Twitter. You don't have to do any of that. I made one post, I think a couple days after, saying like, I don't know everything, but based on what I do know, I stand explicitly with the people of Palestine. And I'm continuing my learning since then, but I've also continued my work. Like, you don't have to perform your work. You don't owe anybody having to like make receipts and justify your and it's different, like content creators, I think being mindful of like what you're posting and how you're doing it, because especially if you built your platform on like equity or social justice or anything like that, you more so than anybody have a responsibility to like be responsible with that. But it varies, like I said, it varies from person to person, but you should be engaged. But know that you burning yourself out benefits nobody. It is not a 40-yard dash. It is a marathon. We will never see the fruits of the labor of the work that we do.
I would say that burning yourself out actually benefits the oppressor.
Yeah.
So, thank you for that answer. It's a deep topic. I would say since your work is, having these conversations, when you come back to your hobby and the place is on fire with some bad guy of the week, I mean, if with your work being, taking on this topic all the time, and then you come back to TTRPG, and does your perspective on things, do you think that helps you navigate this space?
I think it does. I think it's also why a lot of people gravitate towards me, honestly, when it comes like hard topics or just like being in community with me, right? Like, I explicitly do work around like, my job is to go into a place and tell white people, listen, you're racist. Now wait, you're racist, but it is a byproduct of a systemic problem. And let's talk about it, because I don't want to judge you based on what you've done without the knowledge. I want to base you on what you'll do now that you have the knowledge, right? Because I think we have created a culture, particularly on the left, and this may be an unpopular opinion, we have created a culture where we do not inspire collective learning, right? particularly in like if you exist in queer spaces, you're very familiar with some of the problems that exist here. Of like all your resources, all your community are explicitly tied to that thing. Usually, it's around an identity, right? Like if you're trans or you're LGBT or something like that, right? Everybody you hang out with is gay. Everybody you hang out with is queer or trans. You all exist in the same amalgamous space. But there is also like a bit of purity culture pieces in there, right? Of like, oh, you had a bad take 7 years ago. You now will be denied access to your community. You'll be denied access to community support and healthcare and all these other things that like people don't put as much value on, but are so important. So what that leads to is a culture that like everybody has to fall in line. Everybody has to listen and do X, Y, and Z thing, and leads to a culture of fear, right? You're not learning because you want to know how to do better. You're learning because you don't want to be denied access to the things that you need that in order to like and that's like unsustainable, right? We see it every 6 months in the community, right? Where everybody will be like, yeah, racism is bad, and then 20 motherfuckers are playing Baldur's Gate, and like I can excuse it because there's a twink in it, right? Like it's the
thing. I wish to God I had my soundboard because that's the same gunshots right there.
Of like of it just being like that, and I think it's important to remember everybody's in a different place in their journey and learning, but also that like this space in particular is built on bad foundation, right? Somebody on Twitter said ages ago there is no TTRPG community, because there is no community part of it. Like when we talk about community, that comes with like huge caveats and like what we're talking about.
Community implies a level of care.
Yeah, it implies a collective care, right?
Yeah.
And it gets into the individualism, right? We put people up on pedestals in this community, right? People who may or may not deserve that. Most people don't, because most of them, the moment they get in trouble, like, hey guys, I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a regular guy who's but will still benefit from all of the things that come from like putting them on a pedestal, right? And like it also leads to us having unrealistic expectations. This, I'm thankful like the level of success and or niche celebrity that I have, where like I'm not famous with fans, I'm famous with creators. I know everybody, and it comes from like doing genuine community building, reaching out and talking to somebody and be like, hey, I have no intention of like asking you to do anything for me other than I want to chill. You want to watch One Piece? You want to play in a game that's not being streamed, that's not, not having any sort of financial gain. I think so much in this community, we are built around the idea of capitalism, and that everything we do and everybody we interact with has to be moving towards an unsustainable level of growth. Right.
Yeah.
And eventually that plateaus, and what happens is that thing blows up, and then we pick a new motherfucker to put up. Right. We went through that cycle, like the discourse, right, where like somebody would do something irredeemable, and then there'd be people siding with them, people not siding with them, and then somebody would have a take, and it would be like, oh, they're fucking spitting. Put them up there, put them up on that pedestal, and then eventually somebody goes to the the DMs or whatever where they say not the right thing, and then we tear them down, and it's just this cycle, right? We just keep fucking repeating. And I think because also, let's be realistic, 1 million followers on TikTok don't mean shit. You are still a nigga working at a grocery store. I need you so desperately to appreciate that like followers mean so little compared to your character. If you are a shit person with no depth to you, and you have 100 million followers, that means absolutely nothing to me, versus somebody who is genuine, has care for the community, and wants to grow and has 180 followers on TikTok or whatever. Like when we get away from these ideas of that people have inherent value, because like we're conditioned to do it, right? We're conditioned to give and assign value to people to determine whether or not they are deserving of basic human decency. And so when you remove those things, it makes it easier to interact in this community of like, blah, blah, blah has 100,000 followers, and they said blah, blah, blah. I was like, but do they have a fucking degree in it? Why am I going to listen to them? That's just a white man, baby. I don't know if you knew, but that's just a white man. It is, there's nothing. He tells stories good with the 9 or 10 people he hangs out with in LA. That don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing to me. That shouldn't mean nothing to you.
Yeah, but they might be one of the 9 people that he hangs out with in LA one day. That's what we run up against in this space. Is motherfuckers are willing to risk it all to be in that group.
Listen, if you have to tap dance to be on the show, is it even worth being on it? That's all. That's all I'm gonna. That's all I'm gonna say. If you have to tap dance to be on the show, is it even worth being on? Right? Because like, what is it you want? Like, I think that always comes out. What do you want out of this space? And people all the time. This community is built on the idea that found family should be the default type of family. Right? There's many a TTRPG game or campaign built on like motherfuckers. A scrappy group of individuals coming together and defeating this great evil. Sorry, we'll ask the reflux. Forgot where I was going with it. But it's built on that idea, but like people don't live up to the stand. Be the person that your TTRPG character would fucking protect and care about.
You know, I think you kind of pointed out the great myth of the TTRPG space that has been perpetuated by most of the people that other folks aspire to be. Like I think it started with Critical Role, with the whole we're just a couple of friends playing a game, turned on the camera, and you know and then we made it, you know. And I think that is the myth that is really doing more damage than good, because there's this parasocial connection that I see a lot of folks have in this space, where it's just like, oh yeah, we're friends, when really it's more business associates. But to come straight out and say we're doing this for business, it's not as accepted as, oh, we're great friends, we hang out all the time, look at all the pictures we have together on Instagram. You know, and I just, yeah, you kind of touched on that, and I think that's been one of the things that has bothered me the most about just the space in general.
Yeah, like I'm listen, I'm here to kick it. That's it. Like this is the thing that I do for relaxation and fun. I woke up at 7:30 this morning to come and kick it with the homies. There's no money attached to it. That's, you know, but like that's a level of privilege for me. There's some people in this space who don't have the privilege, right? Like this is where I have plenty of friends who do illustrations or TTRPG artwork that like that's their livelihood, and they have to interact with these places and spaces. But it's like it's 9 motherfuckers controlling the entirety of like, because we are a small community. The degrees of separation between me and Matthew Mercer is one motherfucker. All right, is one motherfucker. I mean, I was looking at your little title card there at the beginning with all the people that have been on here. Shit, y'all don't even have the 1 degree. Like, it's such a small space. You can realistically tweet to Abria Iyengar in this space, and there's a not small amount of chance that she will answer you back. I've drawn smut on Tumblr and have Abria Iyengar be like, "Hey yo, hey yo, this hits." Like, I'm saying, like the degrees of separation in this space are so small.
No, absolutely. And I think, just to clarify what I was trying to say before, I think there is like a stigma to just folks being open about just wanting the bag, you know?
Yeah,
and that's weird to me.
It's because like we've also built the lie in this community, right? That like, oh, we're all family here. Well, yeah, and it's the baby. I don't know you. I don't even know your first name. You know, I don't want you to know my first name. You know, it's all right that we just like. I think there's also this like, I think like this weird pressure that we cannot have different type of relationships, right? That everything has to be either my best friend or you're my other best friend, or we're fucking, right? Like those are the only three, those are the only three relationships that are allowed to have in life. And so like it leads to us all, one, not being able to put up solid boundaries around like how we exist with people, and also not being feeling free enough to like explicitly state the nature of our relationships, right? You know, there's some people like I work with in this space and like, we will never hang out. Do not ever ask me to hang out. It is I have friends already, babe. But we can have we can have a professional relationship. You know, we can work together. Like it doesn't diminish like our ability to spend time together. But like, I don't need you to do all this. Because I've had people, and I've been this way with like my audience, that be like, y'all don't know what's going on in my life. You do not have to. You know, I tweet out something, I'm like, I had a really bad day. I don't need 900 of you all to message me like, hey, I'm here if you want to speak to me. I don't even know your name, babe. I don't even know your name. I appreciate the sentiment, right? Like I appreciate like that you're trying to show community care, but what we have is a parasocial relationship. You watch me for my content and you like the things that I make, and I appreciate you for being here and liking the things that I make. And that relationship, the way it exists, is okay. And I think a lot of content creators struggle with making that separation, where they will build their entire brand about letting everybody into every ounce of their existence. And then, you know, setting that as like, that's what our relationship is. And then being upset when, you know, those people have formed an unhealthy bond with them, when that's what you asked for, that's what you allowed. You financially gained off of giving that piece of yourself up. Not to say that like people aren't deserving of privacy, but you can't be like, this is all your fault, babe. I need you to hold the gun too. I need you to hold the knife as well. It is a collective responsibility.
You let them in.
Yeah, you let them in. It's like inviting somebody to your house to spend the night and then wake up in the morning and be like, what the fuck are you doing here? You let me in. You let me in here. You
put a blanket on the couch and everything.
Like there's a difference between asking somebody to leave and being surprised that they're there. I think is like what I'm trying to say in this metaphor of like, you can 100% at any point be like, hey, I got shit to do. I need you to go home. Versus wake up in the morning, I can't believe you slept in my house. Do you not respect my? Like there's a difference. You can always ask people to leave, but you can't be like, I can't believe this happened. And like, it happens all the time in our space to be like, I can't believe this happened. What, you can't believe a white couple got into deep water running an AP over the course of 7 months after there was a black woman who made a tweet 8 months ago talking about these people are problematic? Like, really? Is that such a fucking leap in the... Listen, shout out to black women. Shout out to black women. No particular reason. Just shout out to black women for all the time doing the work of being the canary in the mine and nobody will listen to you. Listen, 3 black women can tweet me today and I will send you $10 so you can get a cup of coffee, baby. It's on me. It's on me today. Black History Month is every day, baby. You can please tweet out to me and I'll send you that $10.
Yeah. It's funny you mention they're always the first ones like on the scene, and you're right, nobody listens, and it's just like
all it takes is for one white woman to all of a sudden put the pieces together and everybody gives a fuck.
So sad. It's so sad.
Here's my hot take. If you want to get away with racism in this space, you just need to add a queer person in there. Pick one white queer person. Pick me if you're like, oh no, my show's too has been called out for being racist or Orientalist. Better grab me a white non-binary queer and put them in there, and it'll somehow
they
make all
gotta
the
have colored hair.
They gotta have colored hair.
It's it's a trend I see like in the space of like me and you exist in the same black and brown circles. Somebody will say something and I'll be like, you overreacting, you doing too much. 8 months later, 5-minute YouTube video by some white creator being like, and then all this stuff happened. I did some investigative journalism and it'll have 9 months worth of receipts and you'll see her name. You'll see that black woman's name in there of having called it out. And then thank God for this investigative journalism with the black woman with her hands up like this, feeling like, shit. What the shit? I said this months ago. Yeah, but you was mean about it.
Let me get back to some of these structured clubs.
Listen, I warned everybody when you put out the thing, and I wanted to listen. I plan to misbehave. If you don't watch me today on this, I plan to misbehave. You thought I was a lot in the chat. You made the mistake of letting me come in here with a microphone.
I let you into the house.
You let me in the house. You would ask me to leave, but I'm gonna take all your fruit snacks and I'm gonna take all your Capri Suns and all your bottled water.
Oh God! No, I'm laughing because it's so true. Like, I'm gonna say names. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Be messy.
Yo, black women called out Swissful for years. Years. What white woman just brought it all down, and I'm just like, damn. It's like that's when you mentioned that, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Like, oh my God. Oh.
Listen,
is this a Kool-Aid jammer?
My entire existence on the internet is me sitting on the porch because I'm old. I'm old and black, and I've done my work, and I've been messy. So it's just me sitting on the porch, and then motherfuckers coming on my porch and telling me all the tea. I see all the fights. I hear everything because I don't ever have to go looking for any trouble. People just bring it to me. Like, hey, Barnaby, how you doing today? Oh, I'm doing fine, sweetheart. How are you doing? Anyway, let me tell you what just happened. There are so many beefs and all kinds of messy shit going on behind the scene all over this space that I just know about. And I don't say nothing because I don't need to say anything. Because it's none of my business. I can sit on this porch and wait for it all to come to me. When the inevitable fallout happens, and I tell X, Y, and Z person, you shouldn't have been doing that. And then it falls apart. I'm right there in the Venmo. Here's $25. Please go take care of yourself. I told you so. But we don't need to do anything about that. Please take care of yourself.
We just need a flag that's a black woman shrugging. The universal sign off. We fucking told you so.
I need a picture of just like a black woman sucking on her teeth. Sucking on her teeth, bitch. I'm sorry. Do you have questions? I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I love this.
It's cracking me the fuck up because I'm thinking of all the times when some shit went down and it's just. Oh God. Okay. Right. Questions. Okay. You get to play with any 5 people that are alive right now. You get to choose who's the GM and what game you're playing. What 5 people are you picking to sit at a table?
I was just talking about this the other day. I don't know if some of y'all know Briar or Benny B on the internet. I was talking to them. I was like, what I want to do, I want to play at a table with particularly black people who have never played TTRPGs a day in their life. I want Meg the Stallion, first of all. Top around Meg the Stallion. I want Tyler the Creator, because I just think he would be so fun at a table. I want Snoop, because I don't think he's going to take it seriously at all, but I just want to see what he's going to do when he interacts with those systems. Who are the other 2? Offset was the other one. And this is my controversial pick. It's controversial, at least in my circles. Kevin Hart, because I think he's only one's going to try to take things seriously, and they clowned on the whole time for being a tryhard.
Yeah,
I want to GM it. And I want to GM it.
What are you playing?
And it's.
Oh, that's a good question. What are we playing? It can't be Dungeons and Dragons. it can't, like, almost on principle, it can't be Dungeons and Dragons. Let's go. Let me look over the bookshelf. What's good over here? No, I'll go with something simple. I'd go with Electric Bastion Land.
I've not heard of that one myself.
Electric Bastion Land uses the Into the Odd system. It's like an overly simplified version of OSR.
Okay.
So it's a roll under D20 system with like 3. You have Dex, Strength, and Will. And you roll 3d6 for your stats, and then you'll roll the d20, and your goal is to roll underneath that to do X, Y, Z. There is no rolling to hit. Everybody hits. You just roll the damage die.
Oh, I like that. So let's see. The table was Meg the Stallion, Tyler the Creator, Snoop Dogg, Offset, and Kevin Hart. That table. That's a good fucking table. I watched that fucking table.
Nonstop laughing for me. Like, and it's not being streamed. It is just us sitting at the house, drinking and hanging out, playing. I think Meg and Kevin are the two that are going to be the paladin and the rogue of the group, and they're going to try to carry the entire party, and the rest of the motherfuckers going to be on their phones. We're gonna have like Snoop in there with all 9 of his fucking dogs and his kids running all over the place. It'd be such a good vibe. It'd be so fun.
See, now I'm trying to imagine what each person would play as. I don't know why I get Barbarian off of Offset.
I see that too. I see him either fighter or Barbarian. I think Tyler would play a wizard, but not like a regular wizard. Snoop would be a druid. Simply because of the Wii. Simply because of the Wii.
And he can turn into a dog. It's perfect.
And he can turn, exactly. You see the vision.
Yo, I want this to be a fucking movie. I would watch.
Yes. I want to be a bunch of black people. I want this table playing, and then it switches over like drunk history style. It's just a bunch of white people playing their characters. I want that so badly.
You know how many niggas will be flown at that table? Just be standing there nervous and shit.
Can you imagine you gotta have to convince the blah blah blah. Can we just freestyle about it? Can we rap battle about it?
Oh my god, I love this fucking table. All right, well, the next question. Oh, I'm very excited to get your answer on this next question. Actually, you are the God Emperor of the TTRPG space. You snap your fingers at any 3 things you want to have happen, no matter how big or how small. They just happen instantly.
It just happened instantly.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. That's a good big question. Give me a second. Let me think.
I'm like, out of all the people I've asked this question to, I think I'm the most interested in your answers, to be quite honest.
3 things that'll just happen. They can be anything, like a culture shift or something.
If you're like, I want all of Wizards' money to go to like another publisher that you like, or if you're like, I want it to be a rule where all actual plays have to have captions, like anything.
Gotcha. Okay.
A lot of people have Thanos snapped racist away.
If only. I feel like because I'm in the space of like, I don't want to give the easy answer. I want to give a good answer. But I that one I guess makes the most sense. I think I would do away with like racism inherently being built into fantasy as a genre.
So
everyone blames Dungeons and Dragons, but it's like inherent to the genre.
Yes.
I think that'd be the first one. Like all the stereotypes and things inherently tied to it are gone, just from the beginning of time. Never have existed, and will never exist. The moment somebody tries to like add it, immediately everyone forgets it.
Lord of the Rings would be without a bad guy.
somebody has to sit at the end of the world and take care of it all. I think my next one would probably be that all if you kickstart a game, it must be like the you have to have good page layout. You are no longer allowed to release a PDF without good page layout. I'm looking at you, White Wolf. This is my soapbox. Listen, White Wolf. I don't know if anybody's seen my TikTok video. Last year, I played Vampire the Masquerade for the first time, and somebody gave me the book as a
Aesthetics
PDF.
over clarity. Why?
It is the most difficult book I have ever read. I was so mad about it. I'm also going to reveal a bit of my wealth. I went and bought the book so that I could throw it in the street. I explicitly bought Vampire the Masquerade so that I could throw it in the street because it is the worst laid out book, and all of them are like that. Because I made the video, but everyone's like, "Oh, that's just like a quirk, a White Wolf Games," and I'm like, somebody has to stop them. These white men who keep screaming "Punk is dead" need to be stopped. Someone needs to stop them. These page layouts are unforgivable. Shout out to Possum Creek Games, who does by far for me the best layouts. They have, if you buy their PDFs, all the bookmarks. If you scroll over one of the pictures in the PDF, it has image descriptions.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
The
So
Wander Home even has a version where they get rid of all of the bugs if you have a fear of them.
That's what I kickstarted Wander Home whenever it was first coming out. When I got I got the book, I got the special edition, the PDF, and the PDF is so immaculate and is now for me the standard. Good. Yeah, the standard for like how you're supposed to do those. And I kickstart and like fund so many games in this space that like it's real hit and miss. Like I this isn't a call out post, but I just want to say, because I have already said this other place, Coyote and Grow has not great page layout for their books, which is a shame because it's got a wealth of information, particularly in like if you're wanting to represent Indigenous people. The first half of that book is great. The system and how you are able to navigate that in the book is untenable. And so I want good games, and I want good games to be able to have that. And then I guess my last one, this one's just a petty thing. This is to my Black game designers. You are no longer allowed to use D10s for your systems. Stop it. Let it go. Stop it.
Yo, why is that a thing?
I'm looking at you, Gabe. Everything don't need a fucking D10. Those are my 3 wishes.
Oh.
Now I'm thinking, y'all, D10s don't exist anymore. You don't need them.
Let me just toss this drawer of dice.
Let me explain my frustration. They'll be like, I want my game to be accessible. And then you don't use D6s. They're right there. You can't say you want your game to be accessible by other Black people and then put nothing but D10s in there. Who's got 18 D10s, Gabe? Who's got 18 D10s? Put your hand down. Look, put your hand down.
I have because of White Wolf Games. That's the only reason.
Listen, you don't need that many. That's unreasonable. Unreasonable. D6s is right there. Please stop it. Get some help.
I'm still tripping about.
No, I'm using D12s now.
Oh, ugh. The D12 don't get no love, man. I swear to God.
Needs love.
Listen, it's an ugly die. There's nothing attractive about a D10. About a D12.
The D12 just, it's that die that you're like, oh, let me grab a D20, and then you pick it up and it's like, oh, it's D12, and you get mad at it.
It's the fool's D20.
The D10, the D8, and the D12 I have a table of black. I have a large like little pool of black and brown people that I pull from like run games through because like Kickstarter stuff. I'm like, oh, I want to run whatever. The biggest problem I have as a DM, not only that none of these motherfuckers know how to do math, but none of them know how to tell the difference between a D8 and a D10. Get rid of it. You don't need them. People can't tell the difference. You know how tired I'm asking for someone to roll a D8 and they're like, I got 9. I got 9. Please stop. Please. I'm asking every game designer. It's particularly bad within people of color when they design games to like, I'm not going to be the D20 is the white man's tool. Like, it's not. It's just a die, baby. Listen, black men who watch Naruto and Dragon Ball Z need to stop making games. Need to stop making games. Everything don't need to be special. Oh. It's okay for things to be ordinary sometime, baby.
The call outs this today are just real. So real.
Yo, that hit me directly in my soul. The Naruto was the gut punch and then the Dragon Ball Z was the knockout.
Listen, if you're like, I'm gonna make, if you are, this is all the black and brown people. Look, I'm looking directly at the camera. If you were thinking about making a game, you need to ask, there's some gatekeeping involved. If Sasuke was peak for you at any point in your life, you don't need to make a game. If your first response to somebody saying an anime is good and has good fights is to say, can they beat Goku? You don't need to make a game. It's not for you. Put down the pen and paper. Put the Mila note away. You don't need to make it. It's not for you.
I feel like there's some One Piece resentment happening over here.
And this is a call out to listen. I am a One Piece fan, but I'm not a power scaler. I want the boys to kiss. Me and Angie's friendship is built on us being like, I can't stand your character, but I want them boys to kiss. I don't give a fuck about none of the power scaling. I don't give a fuck who Zoro can or cannot beat, or who's better, Zoro or Sanji. I do not think that Luffy 1v1s everybody in the goddamn anime universe. It's a silly argument because the power scaling is inconsistent across all those things, and most of it's power fantasy fulfillment and isn't meant to be scaled in that way. I don't enjoy it. Listen, my favorite Dragon Ball Z character is Krillin. Let that say what it's going to say about me.
Power scaling for me got... I used to be I'm a recovering power scaling. But I no longer power scale because it's been broken, because there is one character that wins every power scaling competition that you put her in.
I knew exactly who you was gonna say.
And that is Sailor Moon. You physically can't beat her. There's no way. Her feats are ridiculous. You can't kill her. Okay, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm just gonna say, if you are a power scaler and you want to stop being a power scaler, put your favorite up against Sailor Moon and see what happens to him. Do it and see what happens. It's not gonna end well for you.
But some people listen. If you hear Sailor Moon bodies the entire anime universe and your body clenches, you don't need to make games.
Because but for real, she does though. It doesn't matter how many people you send. It doesn't, like, you can't beat. She fought a dude where every time the person fight her hit, it destroyed everything. And when she hit him back, she recreated everything. You can't beat her.
Or who are you talking to? I was there when don't speak of the old magics to me, witch. I was there when it was written. How dare you? I was there when it was written.
Sailor Moon is the Black Fem's Goku.
It's
Yo,
true. It's true.
This is my first time hearing that.
That's who you need to have on here next. You want to hear some crazy hot takes. Have Briar on here. Have Benny B's on here. They say some stuff sometimes like, man, I'm glad we in a Discord ourselves. I'm glad we in here by ourselves. Braver than me.
The invitation's going out now. But Krillin got Andre 18. I mean, I guess I'd count that as a feat.
It is. Listen, Riz underestimated in the Dragon Ball Z universe.
You know, he was an aspiration for all those short kings. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that he could do it, I was like, maybe me.
This is the part everybody always shitting on Krillin, but here's the thing you need to remember: Krillin's the strongest human. He's the only motherfucker there who's just a guy. And he still like gets bodied and gets back up. And when it was all said and done, what did my man do when it was all said and done? He got himself wifed up, got himself a little something, got a little job. Unfortunately, he was a cop. We forgive it.
Yeah.
He's a cop. Unfortunately, he's a cop, but we forgive it. Listen, shout out to Krillin and shout out to Piccolo. Piccolo, blackest anime character ever existed. Raising white men's kids for over fucking 20 years.
Piccolo wasn't the stepdad, he was the dad that stepped up.
Exactly. You get it.
Because Gohan is wearing Namekian clothing like all the time. Like his battle suit is Piccolo's battle suit.
Exactly. He ain't wearing his daddy's garb. Them days is over.
He learned Piccolo's moves. He didn't learn his dad's moves. Well, he did learn some of his dad's moves, but he learned Piccolo's moves.
And I seen the new one. Piccolo's still training that family's kids. He got Gohan's little girl is training her right now. If the TikTok clips is to be believed, listen, I'm gonna go
Listen,
a little bit.
He's gonna be a granddad. That's what he does.
I love this for Piccolo. I love this for this man. Man been fighting demons his entire life. Finally knows peace.
Who white baby is that?
That's my white baby. Piccolo gives I'm a dad who braids my daughter's hair energy.
No, but you're right though. Like in the new movie where Gohan finds a new form, Super Saiyan Beast or whatever it's called, he uses the special beam cannon. He uses Piccolo's move.
Yeah.
So at his very strongest, he's representing Piccolo and not his dad.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we got so off track.
No.
What was the question?
Well, this is good.
The question again. I was just gonna say I had a conversation, and if you really want to see somebody break down, ask them who would win in a fight, Krillin or Batman.
Oh, it's Krillin. Not even competition.
Batman fans cannot handle it.
I need Batman fans to calm down. Listen, he just a man. He just a man. He just a white man. A white man with money. And baby, those are everywhere. Those are everywhere. You cannot throw a rock without accidentally hitting some white man who got money. All of them in the MMA, that's all he is. He is a white man who's in the MMA and has too much free time and too much money. And you think that's gonna body Krillin? He can fly without a plane. He ain't got no money. He ain't got no money, and it's absolutely molly-whopping motherfuckers.
You know, I think I'm just enjoying talking about comics and anime without it turning into a toxic cesspool like it does on TikTok. Like, I had to give up on two creators that I was starting to like because for some reason it just melted down into just shit.
I don't follow any anime creators or any comic book creators on TikTok. I don't need that stress in my life. I don't need nobody to tell me what I like.
It got so bad. I'm like, y'all, we just read books. Like, fucking chill.
Yeah, like nothing nowadays. I don't make video like everyone's like, oh, you should make content of X. Why? I don't need no one to confirm or deny my opinion. I watched this thing and I liked it. Why do I give a fuck what strangers on the internet have to say about the shit that I like? There's no reason for it.
I don't think most of the people online have good takes anyway. Y'all motherfuckers are the ones that like Stranger Things. That show is absolute garbage.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I love watching people with bad takes. Listen, Briar's in the chat. I love watching people with bad takes. As they've thought them out. They've thought them out so well, and then all it takes is one little like, but what if, and then the whole thing's thrown out away. Or they'll defend that. They'll die on that hill. They'll die in that hill, and I want to see that. I always want to see that. I love seeing problems happen that have nothing to do with me.
What was the thing that it was like? I think you misunderstood my supposition. I'm not willing to die on this hill, but I'm willing to kill you on it.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I think that's a perfect spot for us to go on our break, and when we come back, we'll get to the Dark Roast, which is more of the same, but we just gave it a cooler name.
All right, everybody, go get some hydration, go do some human things, and we will be right back. See you soon. I didn't have the timing quite right on that one, but we're back. Hi.
Hi.
I'm not gonna say anything, you know? Welcome back, everybody. We are at the second half, aka the Dark Roast. We have a few established segments here, and I can't wait to jump into them. So let's jump into them. The first one that we're going to jump in today is called the Signature Move. This is where we're going to ask you, Barnaby, what do you think is your signature move in terms of being a player and in terms of being a GM? Like, what are some things that you feel like you do better than most in both disciplines?
Give yourself a little shine.
A little shine. I get made fun of a little bit in my collective group of friends stuff. I am always a first mate. I'm always the one cleaning up the mess so that the captain can be a silly, goofy little guy. Definitely the mom or a paladin of a group. I really like playing characters with a strong sense of justice, whether they are right or not right. I like to play somebody who believes in a system that may be inherently broken. I think there's something really fun about exploring characters that believe very heavily in something and want it to be better, even though it explicitly is not, and trying to like learn how to navigate that. So yeah, I love playing a second in command, and I love playing older women. I feel like they are very underrepresented in TTRPG games. I really like seeing that representation for me as I get older. And also just ingesting a lot of media, because like, you know, whenever people from our D&D party, like, yes, I am a young woman in my 20s, like, nah, I want to play a 45-year-old woman who just got out of, you know, who's all her kids have left and she wants more for herself, and I want to still got to groove on my way across across the continent. So I think I think a strength of mine, like as a GM, is that I am very thoughtful in how the world is built. My background, I have a master's in anthropology, particularly linguistic anthropology. And so I'm always thinking about culture and how we exist with one another. And I put a lot of that thought into my world building because I've traveled the world. I've been to 6 continents. I've been to a bunch of places. I've worked for the UN and the Smithsonian, but all these great things in my life. And one thing I've learned is like, one, not every shopkeeper needs to be an asshole, guys. Not every shopkeeper needs to be an asshole. Genuinely, most people are excited to see you, and people are inherently good. I like that I've also done a really good job of untraining people in some problematic stuff that they've ingested within the space, and learning to be more thoughtful and kind, not only to themselves but to other people.
Love that.
Okay. Well, those are two solid answers right there. So we start off the dark roast with a little bit of positivity, and then we just wallow in the pit with the next one.
And
this is the segment that we like to call Petty Prime Time, where it's subtweeting in real life. If there's something you want to get off your chest, you can just subtweet here, and of course, we model the behavior that we expect from folks. So with that said, Anita, do you have a Petty Prime Time this week?
Corporations aren't your friends. Especially even the ones that you, probably especially the ones that you like. And I don't know, maybe just stop simping for them. Oh,
that's a pretty solid one. See, I'm trying to think. I haven't really been on the socials much. There was one thing I saw that I feel like okay. I feel like I can yell about. Here's my Petty Prime Time. Not everybody gotta agree with your opinion on a certain topic, and if an expert on the topic pops up and they put in their 2 cents on something, like I don't know, bleed, maybe listen to them, and if you don't agree, keep it moving. Y'all gotta keep standing in one spot yelling at each other until nothing happens, because that's all that's gonna happen. Y'all just gonna stand in a circle yelling at each other until nothing happens. So just you just keep it moving. Like I haven't been on Twitter in like weeks, and I popped in for a second and I saw the TTRPG space was yelling at each other about bleed, and I was just like, oh, I made a great decision to leave this motherfucker. So that's my Petty Prime Time.
Is it my turn? It's my turn to listen. Not everybody who has a platform, who has gained a significant amount of following, is an expert or a person worth listening to. They can say whatever they want on the internet, but that does not mean that you need to take that as gospel. I need so hard for you all. This in particular is about the Osama bin Laden letter. I need so hard for people to gain media literacy. I need so badly for people to gain media literacy that it hurts me. And I also want to say, like, we need to stop throwing around the word media literacy. And also, it's fine to watch things and not have to do a deep dive on. Listen, I know so many of us in this space are autistic, but I promise you can just watch a movie and not have to think about the moral and social implications of it. Sometimes it's just a movie. I seen Imani Vanelli. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. She plays Miss Marvel in the Marvels. I went and seen this week, and people were asking her all these questions. Are you worried about the box office numbers? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, nah, I got paid. My family, they enjoyed the movie. I liked what I made. That's not my problem. It's not that deep. And I felt that in my heart. I felt that in my soul. Sometimes it's not that deep. Sometimes you need to use your own brain. Do not tell me. I do not give a fuck what Brittany Broski has to say about the Palestine conflict. I don't care.
Yo, you gonna stand it up for that one?
I don't give a fuck.
Kombucha lady.
I don't care. I was not asking when this geopolitical conflict happened. I was not asking for her hot take. If you are, I need you so badly to diversify your FYP and go other places to get your information, because that cannot be where you're getting your information. There's something so dystopian about, like, I get all my news and information from Brittany Broski. I need her opinion on this geopolitical issue that is spanning 75 fucking years. I need to know what she thinks. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. That's my hot. That's my petty corner.
Oh, love it, love it, love it. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. Uh, my goofy ass has forgotten the rest of my segments.
It's okay. I got him. I got you.
I'm gonna take partial responsibility. I am imbibing booze way earlier than I normally do right now. Yeah, we did. Oh, yeah, I know what's next. TTRPG confessionals. This is where if you feel you have a habit at the table that is less than stellar, this is where you come to confess, and we will give you your pennies.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I see.
Of course, this is another one where we lead by example. Oof.
Come on, give us the fire, give us the smoke, give us the heat.
Okay, I'll confess. I have a hard time planning what my characters are going to do with other people because I react very in the moment. So my confession is, I thought I was working with somebody in the party, and I thought my character was gonna go one way, but we got new information in the game, and my character went the other way. And the person I was working with in the party was kind of like, "Well, what the fuck?" Well, they didn't say what the fuck. The version of them in my mind was like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "I'm so sorry, but this is where the story is taking me, and I must go." Which, you know what? I think maybe not the greatest. I think I could be better. And so that
you
is
zagged when you expected to zig.
I said, "Hey, meet me at the Zig because I'm gonna definitely be at the Zig in the game." I was like, "Man, Zag looks pretty sweet right now." So I'm at the Zag, and then I got a text from my friend at the Zig that was just like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Hang up," and I just hung up. So that is my sin. I am prepared to take whatever penance you both aside to me.
How do we do this? And do we brainstorm? Do we just start shouting things out? Or
I mean, if you want to shout things out, shout things out.
When's your next session?
Monday.
Monday. Okay. On Monday, before the session starts, you are to explicitly write down what it is you're going to do, and you are not allowed to deviate from it. If you deviate from it, you have to buy everybody at that table either coffee or you have to bring snacks for the following week.
Okay, that's fair. I like that. I will take that penance. Anita, what do you got for me?
Your job is now to follow player B's lead. No zigging, no zagging. You are gonna I know this is gonna kill you because you're a Leo and you want to be in charge and center of attention.
I'm so sick of Leos being called out. We deserve.
So your job now is to be a good little sub.
Wow. We reached that portion of the program, huh?
How dare.
Hi, everybody.
A sub Leo? Listen.
You're gonna play against type here. You're gonna have to negate every single gremlin urge in your little brain.
Can I tell you? So something funny happened in that session where, like, I was like, I feel bad because I zigged when I should have zagged. So there was like one last section where I was like, I can make amends because the group is splitting up to do a thing, and I was just like, I'm gonna go help the person that I zigged on, right? And then another person in the party who it kind of makes more sense that my character would come in, was just like, no, I need you to come with me. And I was just like, I'm sorry. so I think the Zach twice. So bad.
Nah, your job is now to follow that character's lead.
Okay. Will do. Will do. All right, so that was my confession. Does anyone have a confession that they would like to bring to the I don't go to church enough to even be able to fake this to the congregation? That's the word I was looking for.
I'm terrible for crosstalk, and I need to stop it. I need to give other people space. That's me. And I realized that as I was doing that, I cut off part of me.
You're fine. No, I was just like, that's all I was saying. Like, you one of those.
Yeah, the old crosstalkers.
Yeah. What is my penance?
Does your DM call on you all to see what you're doing, or is it just a free-for-all?
It's kind of a free-for-all. And sometimes I cut off the GM.
Are you a note taker?
No.
That's your penance. You have to.
I am. Okay.
Barnaby, this is like the fourth confession with a penance where Nina has been note taking.
I hate it.
There's nothing that gets people to be quiet faster than taking notes.
My ADHD can't handle it. I can't pay attention long enough to take notes. But I will try. Hail Maria. Full of grace.
Alright, here's my penance for you. You have mine is also a note-taking penance, but mine is very particular. Anytime you cut somebody off, you have to write down what they were going to say.
Okay.
Look at the page. Look at the page.
I hate this so much.
That's why it's a penance. Nobody likes penance except for that weird guy in that what's that movie? I can't remember. Angels and Demons. The guy with stuff like with the
the assassin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a weirdo like him, do you?
What if I do? Anyways, it's fine. Just ignore that. That was a departure.
You're fine. I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
Guess it's my turn. I am really bad about backseat DMing. Very bad about backseat DMing. People just don't move fast enough for me, and I will happily co-DM a session if left unchecked. But my confession is I'm a co-DMer, and I also will judge your DMing based on my DMing.
That second part, I don't think that's a sin. Co-DMing. Ooh, I almost just want to give you the same penance we gave Andrew, just because it was so brutal.
I am the note taker though, so jokes on
Angie. We're talking about Angie's.
Oh, I can't draw my OC. That's all right. I got 20 others, baby. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Oh, okay. Any for let's say the next 2 weeks, any games that you backseat GM in, you are not allowed to have characters kiss in it.
I can do that. Brian, I'm so sorry. I know I'm gonna fail. So I'm gonna tell me, Iris and Dino, they ain't gonna be kissing. for a little bit. So please do not write anything or plan for anything.
These pennants are brutal. I'm sorry.
I think you're hurting Briar more than you're hurting Barbie. Why am I being punished?
This is how we get Barnaby to get past the sin with positive reinforcement. You want characters to kiff, you gotta help.
I'm be out here trying my best. Be trying my best to not backseat DM.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at how hard the chat blew up with that. So many capital letters.
Me and Brian have characters going through a Pride and Prejudice-esque romance where these motherfuckers holding hands is the biggest fucking deal in the world, and they this close to kissing. That's,
I mean, you gotta avoid backseat GMing, or that's 2 weeks to not kissing.
Well, listen, I have a medical condition. I don't know if I don't know.
I can't do this penance. I got a doctor's note. No, out here with the flicky. Anita, do you have a penance?
I'm gonna give you a note-taking penance. I know that you're a note-taker, but I'm gonna give you something similar to the one that Noir. Whenever you feel the urge to backseat GM, write down what you would do if you were GMing instead.
Oh, we'll leave a paper trail so people can
leave a paper trail.
See, this is gonna backfire because this is just gonna be like, here are all the ways your game could have been better.
Here's how I get canceled in the space. This is how I get canceled in the space. You see the tall you're up?
I see it looking at it as a as GMing practice. Like, you have an idea of, like, okay, if this was a narrative and I was the one doing it, where would I go? And I think it's good as like especially if you're dealing with a mystery, or like you're trying to put pieces together to a puzzle. It's like it's that sort of like, okay, like here is what would I do if I was in this circumstance. It's putting yourself in the GM shoes in that sense, or it's just like it's less of an incriminating evidence thing. It's more of a thought experiment.
Yeah, whose penance is really the roughest now that you think about it? Anita out here.
I don't know. Anita's squirming in their seat about writing notes. I feel like that one's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm tickled by this is Barnaby's GM. Oh, we gotta have you on.
Bree! Hi!
Oh, Bree! Oh, Miss Bree! All right, so, but that has been our TTRPG confessions. Now, we've dipped our toe into the pit, but this is where we're jumping in whole hog. This is the oldest segment on our show, and it's a biggie. If you've been in the TTRPG space for long enough, you've probably had the displeasure of playing with the Vat Guy. The Vat Guy is a veritable black hole of fun at the table. Someone that if they were yeeted into the sun, your enjoyment at the table would increase by 100%. That being said, Barnaby, do you have a Vat Guy story for us?
A Vat Guy story.
I should warn you, we've had Vat Guys as light as railroading GMs to as severe and fucked up as someone who helped another player make a character, and in the midst of that session bit them on the neck and then gaslit them about it, saying that never happened. So it's really whatever level you want to bring to the table.
Okay. I got a couple. I'm just trying to decide which one, and also like thinking about how I word it so that I don't out myself. So, so I don't out myself.
Yeah, feel free to
See.
lie. We tell everybody like.
The space is so small and it's so notable in the things that I'm in that I always want to be careful. I always want to be careful what I say and where I say it. I think one that comes to mind is early on in my TTRPG, I guess, career as like a content creator. I was on a thing. I'm not gonna say where or when, but I was on a thing, and and this was like I think one of my first times being on like an AP. I've been on several now, and I have a better idea of the etiquette and the expectations of spaces and what a good space versus a bad space looks like. um and I was brought on because they're like, you're brown and we don't have any brown people, so you will now be our token black person. And I'm an
You're
older
the
millennial.
diversity.
Yeah, the diversity hire. I definitely went into it thinking that like the responsibility of doing an AP was a collective responsibility. That I wasn't just supposed to show up and then leave, that like there was an expectation of like doing some form of labor. And had asked, and had got assigned to do video editing, even though I had no background in video editing, but I was new to the space, wanted to do good. You know, I'm like, it's not too, I ain't seen too many black people. This might be a good opportunity to have some representation in the space. And so I got assigned to do a lot of behind the scenes work. And then when it came time to play, my character just got turned into a magical Negro.
Oh,
I
no.
I was turned into a magical Negro, and then I also had my character's patron taken from me, so I now was a warlock with no magic. Um, and there was no talking about it. And my patron was also a black character, and I eventually was given a white patron that turned me into a cleric. I had I had lots of thoughts as a black person who was playing a character that was following a character, or was following a god that was not a Christian one. Basically being turned to Christianity in so many words, and I left. I didn't play it anything for a long time because I did also try to talk to them about it. And was like, here's inherently why that's problematic given the history of slavery, and they're like, are you calling me racist? And it's like, the shoe fits. Um, and yeah, I think it's one of my worst AP experiences of like there was no conversation about like character progression or can we do this? There was no boundaries. There was no session zero. Because I didn't know about all that stuff. But yeah, it was a pretty bad experience.
Wow.
Ugh.
I am so sorry that you went through that. Oh my god. That's pretty fucked up. That's what that is. Whew. I you know this kind of leads to a question that I'm interested in asking you. What would your dream AP be? Like
Yeah.
if you had an angel investor that was just like just put together what you want, what would that look like?
Oh. Ooh. Hmm. I think it would be majority BIPOC day, but I would want something really small. I really like the model that Worlds Beyond Numbers uses for their games. I love the sound design. There'd be full sound design, or orchestra, all that stuff. Be a lot of investment in doing stuff like that. And it also would be an interactive art. I played around with for a long time of doing like almost like a Knives Out, Glass Onion situation where you get a bunch of characters together or a bunch of people together, usually a small group, and you'd have a mystery, and the audience would have, and the mystery would be filmed ahead of time, so everything would be recorded, but then you give the audience clues via your social media on solving the crime with like ciphers and puzzles and things like that.
Oh,
Hell
And it-
yeah.
that'd be
yeah,
sick.
yeah.
Any idea who you
No,
cast?
Oh, man, who would I cast in the space? I think
I mean, it
Amelia
doesn't
Psalm.
even have to be in the space. It's like
No,
hey,
I'm gonna name people in the space. We have great BIPOC people in this space that I think need to be highlighted more. The first one I'm gonna say is already highlighted, at least in my opinion, a lot. Amelia Psalm. I don't know if you guys know who Amelia is.
Yep.
The new person for Unprepared Cast is the new co-host of Unprepared Casters. I'm really happy for them. Really excited opportunity for them. They're great. I love playing with them. I love doing things with Emils. They're amazing. Who else to do it? Briar, just because Briar is like my comfort player. Me and Briar have been GMing for one another for a number of years now. So I love having them at the table as my comfort character. And then the last person's always tough. I'm gonna say Super Dylan.
Ooh, yeah.
Dylan's a good choice all the way around.
Yeah, Super Dylan.
Dylan's
Love
Dylan's
that human.
great.
Yes.
I'm a push and a half in class. No, I for one would love the shit out of watching that AP. But now we come to we've wallowed in the pit a bit, but now we step outside of it, and this is where we just rain down love on folks that deserve it. This is the community spotlight. So this is where if you feel people aren't getting enough shine, this is where you give them some shine. Folks that you think that we should reach out to have on the show, or just people that you want more folks to have eyes on.
Yeah.
So you are not limited, and you can gush about them as long as you want, because this is where we find out about cool new people as well. So
Yeah. A diamond in the rough, and I think as super slept on as like an artist and a cosplayer, and is a good friend of mine is it's 8-bit on Twitter. Their name is Cyrus. They're a black plus size trans man that does amazing art, and also cosplay. And they're terrified of sharing stuff with people, but it is some of the best stuff I've ever seen. Amazing creator. They're also on Instagram at it. Brian, can you help me out? Brian, can you help me out with what their name is, because it's not the same on every platform. I think it's like your finest pizza or something like that. I'll find that information here soon. But really, really, really great creative person that I wish had more confidence in themselves in the work that they do, because it's gorgeous and they make their own stuff. And I'm all about fat black people existing and making things, and they hand make all of their costumes. And they all look amazing.
Are they also an artist? Because I'm looking at some of the art on their page.
Yeah, they're an artist and a cosplayer. Like they do both.
Amazing art.
It's Addicted to the Finest Pizza is their name on Instagram, and I think also on TikTok. They do a lot of Marceline cosplays, a lot of Genshin cosplays. Really great stuff. Really great creator. I think deserves more love in the world in terms of like the work that they put out. Shout out to my best friend Briar, aka Beanie Bees, who's in the chat. They're also a really great creator that has some controversial takes on the internet. They have strong feelings about Kylo Ren and Bakugo from My Hero Academia. So much so that they're known as the Kachan Whisperer on TikTok. And if you listen long enough, you'll drink the Kool-Aid. Briar's definitely got me to be a Ben Solo apologist. So
wait. I would need you to elaborate on that a little.
I will not. I'll let you have Briar on and let Briar convert you as well. To
I'm open-minded. I don't know if I'm that open.
we also, well, you know, we all walk into that room thinking now, and then walk out like spitting. Hold up now, they spitting. They might be onto something. um, um, I shout out to Starlight Tales. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Starlight Tales.
Yeah.
You've had VJ's on there. James, who just won at the New Jersey Web Fest for Best GM, is also, it's a almost entirely like Black or BIPOC femme ran AP that is really great. Yeah, it's so good. The storytelling's great GMs, great rotating cast. Behind the scenes, they do everything you would want an AP to do for coming into play. I haven't played myself, but I know a bunch of people on there. Their safety tools, everything and that. Ethically, they run as clean and as good as you would want for something like that. And the fact that it's BIPOC led, like, is just, you know, the icing on the cake. I contribute to their Patreon. I buy their highest tier for a whole year and pay for that because, like, I just want to support that beautiful work that they do, both on and off the
and
space.
I do want to say, and I'm putting the link in our chat as well. Their merch is beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of really talented BIPOC people in that group. Diana, Grace, VJs, Sunny, all great human beings, and they're all real life friends. I think they epitomize like what it means to be in community and be with one another in the ways that like only Black and brown people can do. So I explicitly support and like shout out to them as well in the stuff that they do. I don't know if it's a self plug, but I've been a guest on Unprepared Casters. By far my best experience in being in the space in terms of like being in an AP space. But while I watched Arc 10 with me playing a gay gentleman vampire, very, very, very good. But every arc is self-contained. It's very good. I'm sure Unprepared Casters is known by people within our space. Haley, who got me into the space, it was such a big honor for me. Like, this is the person who got me into like making content. And now I'm on their show, making stuff and playing alongside them. I'm the only person, or one of the few people in Unprepared Casters who's actually played with both Gus and Haley, like in a game, because it's the only arc where they weren't the GM. So it was a big honor, and really great. Is there anything else? I think those are some of the bigger things I'm ingesting into being in, that I think just don't get enough love. And Angie. I cannot forget Angie. Angie right now is over on Rolling for Charity, playing Teens in Space. We'll support Rolling for Charity if you can. They support Doctors Without Borders, which is doing amazing groundwork right now. Yeah. Really, really important. Please go support that. Their goal is so low. It's like $1,500, which is absolutely fucking nothing. And they're streaming for 24 hours. Please help them hit that goal. Angie is a content creator. They are very caring. They're featured over on what's the name of their Tales Archive. Tales Archives. Alec, also a great GM. He's not Black, but you know, he Mark fucking with us kind of energy.
Mark fucking
with us, yeah. And just an amazing group over there. I also was on there as a guest not too long ago, doing my best Caduceus Clay impression. Just great people. There are so many people I interact with in this space that do great work that isn't featured or doesn't have anything attached to it, and or do the work because like they believe in community. And I think this is just like a shout out to like the hundreds of people that like do stuff in the space. Shout out to people like Mills and Cecilia from like TikTok, who like helped create the Online Creators Association, which is like a TikTok union for creators to be able to get support and stuff like that. I've done diversity work for them. Yeah, there's so many amazing people who make this space sustainable. that make it they keep the lights on and pay the rent so that everybody can crash on the couch. And I'm so thankful for all those people that exist in this space and do that type of work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's
it-
my spiel. Also, Free Palestine. I don't know if that needs to be said, but that's a platform, Free Palestine. Please do your research, be thoughtful in the way that you talk about it, and be careful to condemn the Israeli government, not the Israeli people. They too, like us, live in a government that is completely corrupt and does not speak for them as a collective, and are doing just as much work as we are on the ground to fight for the freedom of the Palestinian people, because human rights are not something that has to be earned. It should always be given.
Absolutely. And with a lot of the creators that we mentioned here in the spotlight, we've dropped the link to their socials as well as their coffee. So you got a little extra, toss it their way. Make a brown person's day. Help us out. That being said, I think we're close to wrapping up. Is there anything anyone else would like to mention before we call it for today?
I just wanted to do a really quick thanks to because about 2 weeks ago and Watson had an accident, and a lot of people from the community stepped up and helped us get the vet care that he needed. And so I just wanted to do a really quick shout out and thanks to the folks who have really helped it. Our boy is recovering nicely, and I just wanted to say thanks, y'all, and lots of love.
Just to tag on to that, just to capitalism sucks. We were given two choices: pay an amount of money that we did not think that we can raise, or say goodbye to our friend. And we were not ready for either option, and because of community, we get to keep our friend. So yeah, thank you.
Shout out.
We can't say that enough.
Yeah.
So let's. Oh, go ahead.
No. You said let's. So go on.
You have to write down what I'm about to say now. That's part of
it. Okay. Give me. So you were gonna say let's keep that going.
I was gonna say let's keep the community vibes going. I do believe Angie. We were mentioning Angie is right now helping Doctors Without I almost said Doctors Without Borders. Doctors Without Borders Row for Charity. So I don't see any reason why we can't head on over there and keep this going.
Yeah. It looks like they might have just wrapped up this portion of it, though. Because I'm just seeing them on a.
Ain't that the way?
Unless they're on a break screen at the Mo.
They're probably on. Let me open it up. So I have.
Because I'm seeing them live.
Yeah, they're on break.
They're on a break at the moment.
Yeah, they'll be back at I've been bad at time conversion. 1:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Well, then we'll just head over there right now, anyways.
And they're playing Magic the Gathering.
Because 1:30 EST is now.
There we go.
Yeah,
so yeah,
I hate math.
That's how I know you gay.
but I can park though. Is the thing.
It's true. He can. But we're going to head over to Rolling for Charity. Everybody, thank you all so much for stopping by and hanging out with us. Actually, wait, why am I rating when we should be doing like outros? Noir, where can you be found?
Nowhere. I'm backed out of the TTRPG. No, you can find me every Monday over on Althaven for our predation game, where we play with dinosaurs. It's fun. That's it.
And Barnaby, where can you be found?
I can be found almost everywhere on the internet at that's underscore Barnaby. I'm currently over on Dungeon Scrawlers for a short shot playing Star Wars, where I'm playing a black female investigative journalist during the beginning of the rise of the Empire. Please come and check us out. Quadrilateral, it's
What
really
the
great.
fuck? Almost
That's
awful.
awesome.
Please come check us out. Episode 1 and 2 are up. 3 is about to come up. It's gonna be a good time. Come see me be a nosy. Come see me be what every black woman on Twitter is, telling people something's wrong and nobody believing me.
Hell yeah. That's the game that you're in with
That
May, right?
flag.
With Maybe Mayhem?
Yeah, I'm with May. Yeah, May.
I
over
love
here
May.
on Critical Misses. May is great.
I love May so much. All right, everybody, we're heading out of here. You can find me Sundays over on Indoor Adventures for Apocalypse Keys, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays we've got shows on the channel, so check those out too. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We are going to head over to Rolling for Charity and send some love over that
Usually I
direction.
tell our guests I'm gonna bully them into coming back, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm scared of you, Barnaby.
You should not be.
You can take me in a fight, so I'm gonna just be like, I'm gonna beg you to come back.
On that note, everybody, until next time, the ritual has concluded. Bye!
Bye.